YouTube, what is up, man? What is up? What is up with you guys, man? We're gonna go ahead and jump right into this, man. I ain't even gonna try to hold y'all long, man. We're gonna do this video quick. We're gonna do a quick live just because, man, like I said, man, we're gonna be doing lives dang near every week. We're gonna be doing lives dang near every week. I hope everybody is having a good day. I hope everybody is having a prosperous day. I hope everybody is moving around, doing something. Before I even jumped on here, man, left work, went to the gym, had to run a few errands, then I came here. So, like I said, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling, regenerized or re-energized, if that's the right word, right? Now, man, look, like I said, man, look, we got something good today, man. We got Destiny here, man. We got Destiny. We've talked about him a few times on this channel, man. Like I said, I respect Destiny with his intellect, right? Because he's very smart, right? But one thing about Destiny, he's a type man. He will sit over here because he's part of the blue pill, right? Let's throw that out there. He's part of the blue pill. We're actually gonna go over one of the videos real quick, but the guy, man, he will sit over here and argue some of the most craziest of things, and we'll sit over here and have you thinking like, maybe, maybe there really is nothing wrong with, having my girl walk out here, go into the separate room with Jason Love. Maybe there's nothing wrong with sitting over here, man, letting my girlfriend do a scene, with Rico Strong and Jason Love together just because, hey, it's about the money, right? Whatever makes her happy, I'm down for it. That's the type of content that he preaches, right? I mean, now he doesn't say it specifically like that, but what is blue pill? It's just pretty much putting women on a pedestal, and that's what he does. He put women on a pedestal. He doesn't like the red pill, right? He thinks a lot of our ideology is BS, right? But how can we say our ideology is BS when we sat here and said, Destiny, right? Your wife ain't your woman ain't with you because your woman wants to, I don't know, because she wants to love you, right? And we're gonna go over it because Poor Man's Podcast talks about it, right? He pretty much brings it up. And once again, like I said, you can't sit over here and say, man, what the red pill talks about is very bad and this and that, but they try to give you advice to keep you from being cheated on by your woman, telling you that, hey, your woman really ain't with you for the love, she's with you for money. And she tried to deny that and said, no, if you can say that. Come to find out, she sat here and left this man. Now, mind you, they were in an open relationship, right? So of course it's coming from your blue pillar, right? And of course that's definitely gonna come from your blue pillar. Any man that constantly sit over here and defend women all day, of course they're going to agree with stuff like this. But once again, he said that what the ideologies that we have is pretty much bad. But once again, it's like we sat here and said, this ain't going to work out, right? This ain't going to work out. Fast forward. Once again, his wife cheated on him, right? Now he's still up here spitting the same rhetoric. And it's like, I mean, damn, dude, like you going through what we try to keep you from going through still landed you in this situation, still is having you still continue to talk about the same stuff, the same rhetoric, right? Oh, well, the red pill this, the red pill that. People, let's be honest here, right? Let's just be real here, man. It's just sad. But, we got Poor Man's Podcast right here. And the reason I'm even bringing him up, man, is because, number one, he, did a reaction to his video. But number two, man, because he, like I said, man, Poor Man's Podcast reinforces a lot of my arguments, right? And be honest with you, he is the reason he's the biggest motivator, right? He's the biggest reason why I even started this, right? You had Kevin Samuels, then you had Fresh and Fit, then Poor Man's Podcast came about. When I saw Poor Man's Podcast video, I'm like, okay, I can do this, right? He gave me the confidence and the motivation to go out here and say, you know what, let me go ahead and start a YouTube channel, because I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. I just said, man, it has to be something with some substance, right? I just can't be sitting on here just reacting to some videos of people sitting on here getting flipped over and, just the stuff that people were doing back on YouTube, right? And like I said, I appreciate this content, and I appreciate what what he does, what he's doing. Now I ain't no here trying to sack ride or nothing, but I'm just saying, right? He deserves his flowers within the red pill and the manosphere, right? We always talk about MTR, mediocre tutorials and reviews, but you look at Poor Man's Podcast, bro. Like I said, I just feel like, man, he's 10 billion times better. Now, it's not to sit over here and compete and just sit over here and say one's better than the other, even though I just said that, but it's not. Once again, they both bring their own juice, right? They both bring their own juice, and they both are good at what they're doing, right? Like I said, he just deserves his flowers, like I could say, because you always hear MTR. I'm saying, man, you should be bringing his name up in the conversations too, But when you got this guy right here, Destiny, man, it's just sad how he is going out. It's sad how he is going out. Right, so let's go ahead, man, and jump into this video, man. Let's go ahead and see what Destiny is over here talking about, man. Because once again, this is sad. All right, this right here is it's ridiculous, man. It is ridiculous. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Pull it up for you. I'm gonna try to get a big screen for you guys. There we go. Let's go ahead and get that thing big screen. Let's go.
Do you think the red pill's dying? That's something that both of us have spent a little bit of time orbiting in one form or another, either you debating it or me getting abused by it. What do you think's happening with the red pill at the moment?
I think most stuff has probably a 2 to 4 year shelf life for internet content. And I think it kind of came and it kind of went. Andrew Tate and the pre-trial or pre-indictment imprisonment probably hurt a bit because it took away a lot of the publicity. I think that the nature of the conversations for the red pill stuff, I think was really bad. I think the content strategy from a lot of the red pillars.
Right. You see, he said, man, look, I think some of the content that they're doing is very bad. Right. Now, he brings up Andrew Tate and the Andrew Tate situation. I do agree with him. I felt like, that it kind of did put a stain on us. Right. It did kind of put a stain on us. And the reason being is because when you think of the red pill, right, when you're people who are not into red pill in the manosphere like you and I are, when they first think of the red pill, who was the first person they was thinking of? Andrew Tate. Now, understand that if y'all were watching Fresh and Fit 3 years ago, right? Back when I first started YouTube, back when Poor Man's Podcast, back when all of them first started the YouTube channels, Andrew Tate was on there. We all knew Andrew Tate before Andrew Tate became Andrew Tate today, right? Then if you ask who was the face of Red Pill, people wouldn't even know. People wouldn't even know who was a part of Red Pill. But because Andrew Tate was able to make such a rise rapidly, right? And then you have that situation happen because, mind you, he was like the most searched person in the world over Donald Trump. And then right after that, you had that little situation happen, and he was going on shows. He was talking to I think it was Piers Morgan or whatnot, having debates. Right? He was sitting over here talking about that, and when you brought up red pill, people misunderstood what he meant. Right? People misunderstood him because of how the media was portraying him. Right? I mean, dude, it was bad the way they was trying to portray that man, but they portrayed him in a negative way. So when people think of the red pill, that's the first thing that they think of. They think of Andrew Tate. They think of Fresh and Fit. And I think that's the biggest issue that, we've always had with the red pill is because when you have somebody like Fresh and Fit doing the shit that they were doing over the years, it leaves a bad stain. Same thing with Andrew Tate. Now, I'm not even saying what Andrew Tate was doing. I'm not saying what Andrew Tate did was bad. Right, sitting over here being the most searched, but he was very out there. He was just very, he was just out there, right? He was just out there, and even O'Shea D. Jackson, he had a few videos about it. Saying, man, look, dude, this dude is just constantly, he's just out there, so he becomes a target. He becomes an easy target for everyone to pick on, right? So I understand that, right? I definitely understand, and I feel like people who are like Andrew Tate, and I feel like Fresh and Fit, they kind of left a bad stain on the red pill because of the antics that they were doing. Mainly Fresh and Fit. I mean, it's so bad with people who trying to sit over here and say, bro, Fresh don't even need to be on the show, right? Fresh don't even be on the show. All those times, man, where they were saying, man, women are, they were over here trying to have a woman, in order for a woman to get on the show, she had to pretty much pop some moose knuckles, right? She had to pop some moose knuckles before she got into the show. To me, like any other professional, that's poor business. You're trying to bring women onto the show to, of course, have a debate. But in order for some of them to get onto the show, they gotta F you. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, and there's been plenty other times, man, where some women try to expose them online or expose them on the show, and and at the time they admitted it, and I was just like, man, it's just not a good look. When a DJ Academics was checking Fresh, that's not a good look. That's not a good look. So that's what I'm saying. When you look at the Red Pill today, outside of looking in, those are the first people that you're going to see. Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate, right? They try to bash Andrew Tate. They blemish his career, or if he even had one, or they blemish his brand by the accusations. Fresh and Fit blemished their brand by the idiotic things that they were doing. Then you have Myron sitting over here, man, with the white cone hat. And I ain't gonna say the other one, but got the white cone hat. At that point, it's just, man, like I said, and I'm not a sensitive guy, right? I really don't care for stuff like that. I would still sit over here and kick it with Myron and talk to him. But once again, when you do stuff like that, you leave a bad taste in people's mouth, and they then begin to start thinking like this guy Destiny, right? And then saying, oh, well, yeah, their ideology is just bad, this and that. They only really care about sex, yada, yada. And it's like, man, once again, they kind of leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
I think was very subpar.
How so?
Like, for me, the way that I've stayed fresh and relevant for 15 years of content creation is because I'm always finding like new stuff to talk about or a new angle to kind of like hit something from, or like I'm kind of moving on with contemporary events. I feel like for Red Pill stuff, I feel like I could have written the script for those shows after being on 2 of them, to where it's like, okay, guys, today we're going to talk about, does body count matter? Do guys value you for the amount of money that you make? Do women fuck over men in divorce? Are men lonely because they're simps? It was like the same topics for like over a year, such that it became like a meme where when I would show up on a show, some of my fans would do like bingo cards of like, okay, well, when.
And once again, right, he's sitting over here saying, well, you know what, man, look, it's just the same thing over and over. And yes, it is. Once again, we do the same thing, right? We always talk about the same thing. But guess what, people? We've tried to tell people, we try to tell men the same thing over and over and over, for number one, to keep it fresh in everyone's mind, right? Number two, because we have new viewers. So every time you have a new viewer, it's fresh to them, right? It's fresh to them. But we constantly tell we constantly talk about the same things, right? Like this is how idiotic he is to some degree. We talk about how you shouldn't. We talk about the same things all the time, right? In Red Pill, for men like this. He didn't want to listen. Well, it's the same thing, blah, blah, blah. Don't know what they're talking about. Okay, cool. We don't agree. Us Red Pill people don't know what we're talking about. Fast forward, you're in an open relationship with a woman, which everybody in Red Pill is against. From my understanding, he took her off of someone's arm, right? And then she sits over here and go deal with another guy. Right, she leaves you. She leaves you and go deal with another guy. And this is something new that I've read that I didn't know Destiny was going through. Right, but they're going to talk about it later on in the video, right? Because I don't want to spoil it right now. But once again, like, brother, what are you talking about? We say the same things over and over and over just for this fool to sit over here and go back through the exact same thing. Just for him to sit over here and go back through the exact same thing we were trying to keep him away from. People. This is like, once again, man, this is nothing new, right? This is nothing new. We once again, we reiterate the same thing just for people to still go through the same situations. Come on, man. Come on now.
It's the body count question coming up.
Hypergamy.
Are women hypergamous or not?
I agree with Destiny when he talks about the redundance of the content, but the fact that so many people are so many men tuned into the same content every single day shows that they were dealing with a problem that needed to be solved, or at least needed to be talked about. And to be completely fair, that's almost all media, especially politics. When you look at politics on the Fox News side, they're going to be talking about immigration, lowering taxes, how stupid Joe Biden is, and crimes that black people are committing. If you look at the liberal media, they're going to be talking about LGBTQ advancement. They're going to be talking about women, the empowerment of women and the lack of opportunities for minorities. It's all the same thing, just with different spins. So I understand what he's saying as far as the redundancy of the content, but when we're talking about the topics, everybody repeats topics. That's what it means to have a niche. Even Destiny talks about the same things most of the time.
Because like the questioning would always.
And that's exactly why I would say he just kind of, once again, he just hypocritical and contradict himself, right? You're going to sit up here and once again and say, well, once again, they're talking about the same things. But once again, like Destiny, here you are. Once again, you talk about the same things too. Why do you think we are? How do you think we all know about Destiny? Why do you think, man, Destiny was constantly on Fresh and Fit over and over and over? They were going to talk about the same topics, and 9 times out of 10, they were talking about these same topics while they were off camera. We have these same topics, but once again, you're contributing because you understand the value that it brings, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's fresh. Right, it's fresh. The same reason why you got new YouTubers coming up here every time talking about the same thing, because it's fresh. Because everybody brings a different perspective. Right, y'all know his channel, different perspective. Everybody brings a different perspective. Exact reason why I fuck with goddamn with Poor Man Podcast, man. Because once again, he always has a good perspective. He always come with good ideas, solutions. And like I said, you just can't beat it. Now, within these like past year or two, man, he just only been dropping his little 8-minute videos, and we keep him moving. That should be irritating, right? I ain't gonna lie, that should be irritating, because I'd be like, dude, like, come on, bro. Like, go back to the old PMP, man, that sit over here and had these deep conversations. But I do remember him jumping on No Jumper podcast with Poetic Flacco, and he said, man, that, this app, let's put it that way, is over here trying to sabotage him, right? It sabotages numbers or something, so he's just saying he was just preparing for that. So that's probably another reason why he doesn't do the same type of formatted content that he used to do, right? So like I said, man, this brother right here, Destiny, like I said, man, he's very intellectual, but once again, it's almost like he says a whole lot but says nothing.
There's a fallacy called all roads lead to Rome, I think. If there's not, there should be one. Where basically, literally, no matter how somebody answers a question, it always goes back to what you want it to. So I might say to a girl, have you ever dated a guy? You say you don't care if guys at all. Have you ever dated a guy that's 5'5"? And the girl might be like, no, I haven't. Because you hate short guys, you won't. And she's like, oh, no. Okay, have you ever dated a guy that's 5'5"? Yes, I have. Oh, when? When I was in high school, I actually dated a guy that's 5'5". Really? Are you together anymore with him? Well, no. Oh, you dumped him because he was a short king, right? Like, yeah. Or it's like, are you dating a guy that's 5'5"? He's like, yeah, I am now. It's like, oh, really? Is he rich? No, he's not that rich. Does he have a huge dick? Yeah, his dick is pretty big. Oh, hypergamous. You just want the pool boy. You're probably gonna, find a rich guy and still fuck. Like, there's always Andrew Tate actually is the perfect example of the all roads lead to Rome. Okay, when Andrew Tate had the pre-trial imprisonment.
And look, let's just go ahead and break it down real quick. He's mainly talking about Fresh and Fit. He's mainly talking about Fresh and Fit. And, to some degree, I understand it. But I mean, once again, when you look at Fresh and Fit, I made a video about this for my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. I pretty much talked about the difference between your hardcore red pill and just your regular red pill. Like, let's go ahead and break it down. Your regular red pill will be Poor Man's Podcast, Different Perspective, MTR, Old Shake Duke Jackson. I would probably throw Tariq Nasheed in there. Let me see. We got a few more. Red pillars, man, that are just red pillars. They're just chill. Right? And I feel like a lot of these people are just. They argue for your average man, right? Your average men are not sitting over here trying to have 5 wives like Myron and Fresh and have all these women. They are not. They don't take the same approach with women the same way Fresh and Fit does, right? Poor Man's Podcast, married. He's family oriented, damn near. Like, it seems like he wants to have a wife. Well, he already has a wife, but he want to have kids and whatnot. That's something, once again, that's why I can relate to the man so much, because it's like, dang, bro, like, you pretty much living a life that I want, goddamn. You living a life that I want. And it's just having good money, living comfortably, right? And just staying out the way. Poor Man's Podcast has done that, right? When you look at all these other YouTube channels, they have done that. They just stay out the way. But when you look at somebody who is like Andrew Tate, somebody who's like, especially Fresh and Fit, your alpha male strategies, all your those would be considered your hardcore red pillars. Those are the ones that's, hey man, look, I don't believe in no marriage. We just need to be running through these women, right? And I haven't watched alpha male strategies in almost a year, but when I first started watching, that's mainly what his content was about, right? It's mainly what his content was about. Same thing with Fresh and Fit. It's about how you can get women on your nuts, right? They even sat here and said that for younger guys, right, who's in their 20s and in their 20s, they say get a vasectomy, because if these women are out here running rampant and they're gonna try to use a baby against you, and it's like, okay, once again, I mean, I get it. Like I said, I get it, but at the same time, man, it's like, dude, like let's be real. Let's be real, man. I get it. But when you're looking at Fresh and Fit, you're looking at Andrew Tate, they preach a very different message than what Poor Man's Podcast. And granted, it's still the same concept, still the same foundations. They're still going to sit over here and say some of the same thing that we're saying, but it's as if they don't, for me, I believe in a marriage. I'm going to be preaching to you guys, get married. Deal with women here in the United States. Deal with what you know, right? Deal with what you know. Don't go out here into these other countries and all of this stuff and you get effed over. You're hearing all of these brothers getting yoked up over in Dominican Republic and whatnot. So that's an issue, right? That's an issue. And like I said, stay here in your country, deal with these type of women. Most of your women are going to be feminists. That's just what it is, right? Your goal is to try to find a woman that is the least feminist, right? And if she's the least feminist and she has traditional ways, it's easy to mold. It's easy to mold her. It's easy to mold her and kick that negative mindset out the way. But once again, you like I said, you have guys who are like Fresh and Fit who are just once again trying to teach you how to keep women on your meat, right? Try to keep women on your meat. And I'm going back to the Sneeko. Sneeko got on them and saying, man, why are we preaching this type of message, right? Why are we preaching this type of message? And if you're going to sit over here and say that, man, like I said, if you're going to sit over here and say, I forgot what he said, but if you're going to cheat or if you're going to, you can't, I think he said, you can't sit over here and say a woman is a hoe, right? They should be worried about their body count and getting married, but then you turn around and tell men to not get married. Once again, it just doesn't make any sense. It's going to obviously contradict each other. It's going to have conflict. But once again, man, like I said, there are two. There is regular red pill, and then there's hardcore red pill. And he's talking about your hardcore red pill, right? This on my channel, I try to talk about everything, right? That's the reason. Once again, that's the reason why I jumped into this content, because I want to talk about everything, not just what goes on in the Black community, but about everything. It's going to keep going.
There were never going to be charges because it was all a scam. It was just a sham kangaroo court. Now that there are charges, if there wouldn't have been charges and he would have been released with no charges, no indictment, it was because obviously it was a scam, right? But now that there are charges, well, obviously because it's a scam, of course they're going to make up charges. So now they're going to go to court, and if they go to court and they get, if they go to court and they beat the charges, it's because it was bullshit the whole time. But if they go to court and they're convicted, well, it's because it's bullshit the whole time. They were going to make it up always. So literally, no matter what happens, it's always because of your particular prediction of the world. So you end up with these prediction models that will predict every single event, which means they don't actually predict anything, but it allows you to escape the cognitive dissonance of your predictive model not being correct. So you don't have to worry if you've got a good view, like a good blueprint of the world, because literally
Donald Trump was obsessed with revenge.
Yeah,
I'm focused on the future. I'm lowering drug prices, getting more people health care.
Sorry, man, I gotta deal with all this.
Pushing past Trump's grievances and building a better future.
Get online in minutes. Web.com's AI builder makes it easy. Simply tell us some info about.
Really, no matter what happens, you've always got a way to make sense of.
Well, if we want to talk about predictability, we got to be honest. Destiny's situation in particular was predicted by the red pill. For those who don't.
And now we about to get into it, right? Now we about to go ahead and get into, once again, what we try to keep other men away from, right? what we try to keep other men away from, this man, right? This man is sitting over here saying, "No, that's wrong. No, your ideas are wrong." But yet, here we are in this situation. Go ahead and take it away, Poor Man Podcast. Go ahead and take it away.
Don't know, and I'm gonna be very careful about this and try to be as respectful as possible because I am married and I believe in the sacredcy of marriage, and I could imagine that a divorce is a hard thing to go through. But for those who don't know, Destiny was married to a woman who he was in an open marriage with, and she repeatedly said that she was there for Destiny, and the Red Pill argued that she was there for his money.
Melina, you're married to Destiny. Shout out to Destiny. If Destiny was broke and 300 pounds, would you be in love with him?
I would be in love with him. Yeah.
Bullshit.
I mean, you could say that. I'm being honest. I like him for.
Hey, and it's just funny. Women always say that. You can, like, when you sit over here and tell a woman, "Hey, you need to sign a prenup," right? These women, "Oh no, it's all about love." Blah, 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 blah. Dude, that's what they all like. Are you really sure? You really? Oh, you can sit over here and say that. You can think that. You can think that I'm just here for the money, but I really love you. Okay, then sign the prenup. No, I'm not trying to sign no prenup. No, I'm not. No, I'm not trying to do that. So it is about the money, right? It is about the money. Now you got this guy who's just so gullible, who's okay. Once again, open relationship, right? So you're okay with her sitting over here dealing with other men. So anybody can predict that if there's somebody who is slanging more than you, right? Who is probably poking harder and way better than you. Don't you think this woman is going to sit over here and continue to deal with him? Just imagine if you're sitting over here in an open relationship and your woman is constantly just going out here dealing with other men after other men after other men after other men. The feelings that you and this girl then created for her is just going to start moving away. It's gonna start moving away, and they're gonna hit her until y'all break up, and she realizes, okay, they just want to have sex. They don't want to actually cuff me. He wanted to cuff me, but once again, it's like you put yourself in a bad position. But hey, guess what? A lot of you women do this. Well, you know, I love him. Even if he man freaking didn't have legs, I would still cuff him. I would still date him. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. But that's what women will always say. They will always come back with, well, you can sit over here and say that. Okay. All right. Destiny was saying the same thing. Well, Myron and Fresh, y'all can sit over here and say that. Well, Andrew Tate, y'all can sit over here and say that. But okay.
For his opinions.
So pretty,
I like him for the way he is.
beautiful.
His
Like,
humor. I like him for his intelligence. That's the things that I love him for.
Long story short, because she was sleeping with other men, and that tends to make people feel more connected than we like to admit, especially people like Destiny who think that sex is just something you could just have. She was sleeping with another dude and eventually left Destiny for that dude. Not only that, but then after she tried to they got a divorce, she was trying to ask Destiny for $120,000 of his hard-earned money.
Yeah, so basically, Melina reaches out to me. We have a call, and she basically tells me that I owe her for money for her apartment, and that if I want to do what's moral, because I made her leave the United States and pay to fly all of her shit back, that I should pay her like $100,000. And I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Now, that ain't something that the Red Pill talks about. I don't know what is. And most people...
I mean, people. Look at my face. Look at my face. She had the audacity to sit up here and say, you owe me $100K for sitting over here bringing me all out here, yada, yada, yada. But I thought you said you didn't care for it. I thought you said you loved him for his intelligence and all that. Now all of a sudden you need the money. Once again, guys, do not listen to Destiny. Do not listen to Destiny, right? Or you're going to end up like him, sitting over here, man, munching on your girl, and you got a million babies coming out of her, man, because, hey, guess what? You know, hey, we're in an open relationship, and I was just having fun with Jason Love. You know, you said I can. You know, we're just making a team. Right, once again, like I said, he's very smart, man, but dang it, Destiny, man, like once again, you make it very hard, very, 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 very hard for anybody to defend you, man. Right, besides people who have the same ideology as you, right? Those people want to defend you tooth and nail, and they will end up just like you, man. That's the sad thing about it. They're going to end up just like you.
Well, most guys that are just
And matter of fact, just to give you a little story time, right? A quick little story time. I had one of my friends I went to Winston-Salem with, right? He decides to date a girl. Mind you, this girl is one of the popular girls in school. She knows most of your football players. She plays softball, right? A lot of your guys was trying to hit that. Some guys, I believe, did hit it, right? One of my homeboys said, man, her and that guy were when they were dating, they were over at a party or whatnot. He was like, bro, I could have smashed her, bro, because she's flirting in front of this guy. He's just not doing nothing, right? But the crazy thing about it is, see, me and my homeboys, we don't play that. Right? We don't play that. Like we will clown you if we know your woman, man, is out here, bro, doing stuff behind your back, and you ain't doing nothing about it. We're going, bro, like, yeah, public shaming to the max. Let's just say that, public shaming to the max. But I happened to overhear him. We were walking out of class, and he was talking about one of my homeboys, because once again, one of my homeboys clowned him for that. Right? Because mind you, I would say he's a pookie, but he always hung around that girl. So, right, everybody trying to get in the girl's drawers, and she's always around men. That's a bad look. He decides to sit over here and date her, and I'm talking about he's loving on her. He over here buying flowers. I mean, she found the biggest imp in the world for him. I just happened to overhear him, right, because they were talking about the situation. He sat here and said, man, well, you know what? Yeah, they got these guys, man, look, I get my, he's like, man, even if she was, even if she was, oh, back in the day, don't mean nothing. We're only talking about right now. Now, of course, me, I'm sitting here like, I'm looking in the back like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, bro, you tripping, right? But I go, of course, man, in person, I ain't trying to down the brother. So I'm like, yeah, man, look, hey, Millie, if you love her, that's all that really matters, right? If you love her, that's all that really matters, right, Destiny? If you love her, that's all that really matters, right? I tell you, man. So after the fact, right now, mind you, this girl, man, she ratchet, right? She ratchet. So once again, it was bound to happen. We could easily predict that from a mile away. Fast forward, they've been together for a year. She decides to move, right? Are they together now? No, they're not. She's over here getting poked out by somebody, right? With all the teddy bears he done gave her, with all the flowers he done gave her, all the chocolate he done gave her. Once again, when people are trying to tell you, when men are trying to tell you and give you advice, hey, man, this is not something that you want to do, then don't do it. Once again, then don't do it, man. Once again, then don't do it. Let's go ahead and jump back into it, man. Let's jump back into it. Ridiculous.
Regular everyday guys working at a factory for $60,000 a year, saving up their money, trying to build this nest egg, that go through these same situations aren't streamers. They don't have an endless pool of money. So they get taken advantage of because they're focusing on building their marriage. And then the same type of women like Destiny's wife take advantage of these guys. And these guys want a place where we can have these conversations, because in the modern media, we never have these conversations. So for Destiny to talk about the predictability and the lack thereof in the red pill doesn't really make sense, because his particular situation was predicted by the red pill. And just something to add here, the only reason why Destiny didn't get taken for half of everything he owns is because he had a prenup in place. And that's something that the red pill talks about.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard.
Right.
So excited to announce that
in order for men to protect themselves against modernity. So when I'm talking about this guy that's making $60K a year saving his money, maybe he doesn't know that he needs a prenup, or his 401k is going to get taken for half when his wife feels like she's unhappy in the marriage because he's not giving her enough attention because he's working all day.
This is why that.
And that's a fact. And this is why I said this is why I say that's just a walking contradiction. He hypocritical. He bites himself in the ass every time. Every time he speaks, he bites himself in the ass, just because once again you can talk and seem like, man, you are for the women, right? And the women is all for you, and that, hey, man, me pandering to women, that's going to get me everything I want. But reality will always show itself. That's what I've been saying since day one. Reality will always show itself, man. Reality will always show itself. And it showed itself with him. That's why we got tons of videos of him sitting over here, man, saying that, all of the love in the world and this and that. And, oh, I love this girl. And you know what? Look at this, right? This is another thing. This is where Abba preach, right? You got Abba and preach. You have Abba and preach. You got Abba who is sitting over here, man, dancing with Destiny's wife, right? And they're just trying to prove a point, right? Not in this particular instance, right? But Abba ended up receiving some backlash for that because, you're dancing with somebody else's wife. And long story short, he says that they do this stuff in other cultures. Okay, yeah, you once again, but are you from that culture? That's number one, right? Number two, Do we do that stuff down here in America? No. Even for Abba and Preach, even if somebody decides to sit over here and dance with their wife, let's just say they have some party or whatnot, and some man gets up and sit over here and try to dance with his wife, even if it's just genuine, they're going to feel some type of way about that. They're going to feel some type of way about that, right? Any man will. We just innately know that. And another thing, if you're going to constantly keep trying to bring up in other cultures, look, if you ain't willing to take everything from somebody's culture, then don't try to cherry pick. That's one thing I don't like about people when they do that stuff. They try to cherry pick 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Well, you know, over here they dancing. Well, you know, in this culture, man, they dance with other women. So what's wrong with that? Well, you know what? Over here in this culture, they over here, man, yoking female babies just so they can keep the women's population down. That's part of their culture. Are you going to agree with that? Are you going to try to bring that over here? No, you're not. Over here in this culture, man, they are okay with having 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds marry 12-year-olds. Are you okay with that? No, you're not. You will not bring that crap over here into America or into your culture or into your lifestyle. So once again, that's what I'm saying. These people try to always be disingenuous and try to make excuses for behavior that we know is not right. Now, granted, right? Once again, I love some Abba Preach. I love some Abba and Preach. Once again, there's some smart intellectual brothers too. But you know, once again, when you do stuff like that, you just have to question it. You just have to question it, just like this.
Mel time. Mel time. It's Mel time.
He loves her too. He loves her. He loves her. He loves her. And this is what he do. And this is what he does with every man that want to have a shot at his wife. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. This is sad, bro. That's really sad, man. That's sad on so many levels. That's sad on so many levels, man. Let's go ahead and keep going. Let's go ahead and keep going, man. We better go ahead and finish this thing on up.
4-step process of when was the last time someone publicly admitted that they were wrong? When was the last time they surprised you? Someone came out and had a discussion about this and was like, do you know what it is? I actually think that a lot of the time I do actually see girls in relationships with guys that hypergamously I wouldn't predict that they were in a relationship with. That guy just seems to have game. It's not really about the fact that he's tall or fit or rich or has status or any of these things. He just seems to be like a really nice guy and she wants to have a family and he ends up being, you go,
my bad for stopping it so soon, but he's making a good point, and this is why I always talk about this topic. Don't just go out and become a millionaire and just focus on your career. You still got to be interactive. You still got to go out and build those social skills and have those difficult conversations with people and learn how to interact in different social settings. Because if you don't do that, you're gonna be a rich lame. You're gonna be a millionaire who just is socially awkward, and even though you got the money, people still don't want to be around that, and the only women that are going to go for you are women that are there for your money. You still got to be a sociable person. He's talking about men that are sociable, and that is important, so I understand it.
I wasn't expecting that.
All right, man, we're going to end it right there, man. I want y'all to go ahead and go watch the rest of that. She ain't got anybody watching right now, but if y'all want to, right? If y'all want to, once y'all get done watching this video, if you are watching this after the fact, go ahead and go check out that video, man. Like I said, man, it's very informative, and that's why you gotta love some Poor Man's Podcast. You gotta love some Poor Man's Podcast because he's always talking about something that's informative, and he's always bringing a different perspective, man. And that's why I say, man, that prime PMP, bro, that prime PMP, man, was lit. That prime PMP was lit, man, because you just enjoy the conversations. You just always give you some ideas, give you a different perspective, see them from a different angle, and you're just like, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to give him his flowers, right? I'm going to give him his flowers, man. But like I said, man, Destiny a contradiction. He just a walking contradiction, a walking hypocrite, whatever, right? Well, I want to say a hypocrite, but he's a walking contradiction, right? You say, hey, well, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just making up stuff. It's just bad ideologies. But then you turn around and literally go through the exact same thing that you said you disagree with. Doesn't make any sense. So wouldn't it be smart of you to sit over here and say, okay, well, look, I might not agree with everything the Red Pill is saying, but you know what? They were right about a few things. But he won't even say that because, once again, he's blue pill. So, like I said, man, look, y'all do me a huge favor, man. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and leave me a subscribe, man. And y'all let me know, man, how y'all enjoyed this video. KB out.